It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us modern day slaves. And everybody's just walking around, head in the clouds, and wanna wake into a dead in the grave. But then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end of day.
Hello everyone, today is December the 19th, 2017. I have some big breaking news from Honduras, and this isn't the normal news that you are used to hearing from me. Yes, I'm staying on the topic of Honduras, but I'm going to go a little bit past the protest and the violence over a rigged election. I'm going to talk about a conspiracy that may be unfolding. To get started, let's have a quick recap of the news today. There will be a re-election for the presidency of Honduras. It will be monitored, and it appears that a new candidate will be on the ballot. I'm going to talk more about this in a minute. It is unclear with the corruption in the Juan Orlando administration if he will be allowed to run again, considered how he dismissed election officials and Supreme Court members to change the Constitution to allow him to run in the first place and come to the position that we find ourselves in. Nasrallah boarded a plane with 4 other members of his party yesterday and took a trip to Washington to discuss the elections. Evidently, they were to discuss the fraud in the election. My take on it is that Trump met with Nasrallah and said, I will help you in this election as long as the United States military base remains in Honduras. So now that Nasrallah has left the country with 4 of the party heads, 1 remains behind in Mel Zelaya. So with Nasrallah out of the country, a new face has emerged in the political scene. Romeo Vizquez, who was in charge of the military at the time of the coup in 2009, posted an image on his Facebook page of his military uniform with the comment, I've already taken out 1 president. It looks like it's time to take out another. Then he announced his candidacy to run in the new election as a member of another third party. So this could go one or 2 ways. This could be just someone seizing the opportunity to take some of the power after the main opposition has left the country, with 4 of his department leaders or his party leaders. And he's calling to overthrow the man in Honduras that everyone hates right now. Well, not everyone, but a majority of the country. Now, a lot of the people in Honduras aren't necessarily for Nasrallah. They are just against Juan Orlando. Their president, they feel, was Mel Zelaya, who was taken out in the coup. Mel was thrown out because he wanted to change the Constitution, and people feared he was going to change the Constitution to allow him to run again in the next election and declare himself president and start a dictatorship, because that's why the 1-term limit rule is in effect in Honduras, is to prevent a dictatorship. So a lot of these people don't care who it is that's going to remove Juan Orlando. They just want him gone. This is going to split the vote. Now, in either 2 of the scenarios, it's a possibility that Romeo Vizquez, this new third-party candidate, is a puppet of Juan Orlando. He could be there solely to take votes away from Nasrallah, to give him the advantage in the election. Or he could be planning ahead and knowing he possibly might not be able to run for presidency, and we will still have a chance to continue this far-right wing regime that is been accused of human rights violations, multiple human rights violations in the past month, as well as blatant corruption in the elections. Now, I said we wouldn't talk about that, and we're not going to talk about that because the story keeps getting more weird. This past weekend, a helicopter carrying Hilda Hernandez crashed in Honduras. Hilda Hernandez is Juan Orlando Hernandez's sister. She is a former communications secretary for Honduras. At the time of her death, she was a close advisor of the president. Now, when this happened, no media was given access to the site. The national news, which is controlled by the government, originally released a statement that a helicopter carrying Hilda Hernandez had been forced to make an emergency landing. Time went by, and the next report was there was a crash, but there weren't any fatalities. It's unclear to me here if they reported there was no fatalities before they found the wreckage, or if they found the wreckage and reported there were no fatalities. But either way, when they confirmed the wreck, they said there were no fatalities. Then they announced that there were fatalities. Okay? Now, I can understand news getting slow to the event, whatnot, but it kind of sounds like they were trying to form a narrative. But wait for the kicker. Because the information that the government released through these government-controlled media outlets seemed to be photos of a wreckage that occurred in, I believe, São Paulo, Brazil, earlier this year. These are the pictures, and they seem really similar. Like, this is the same wreck. We've got pictures of the helicopter used to transport members of the Honduran government. We have crash footage of the supposed helicopter carrying the First Lady. But there's more. Family of people at the military base that Hilda Hernandez was reported to have taken off from, none of them saw Hilda Hernandez. Nobody heard that she was there. There were no special precautions taken that would have normally been taken had someone of that role in the government and her relation to the president. Nor do anyone know who this pilot was, even though it was reported he was a general in the Honduran military. There have also been talks of secret government agencies in Honduras that have been created by Juan Orlando in the past year and a half that basically do not answer to anyone but to themselves. It is said that Hilda Hernandez was head of one of these. The reason I bring this up is because $16 million is missing. And I believe people are saying this was money diverted to these programs. These illegal programs under the Constitution. So what is really going on? This sounds like an old-fashioned American conspiracy theory. But it's probably just the beginning of a dictatorship led by a right-wing fanatic in Juan Orlando. Tell me what you think. How is this connected? What's the bigger picture? Help me develop this. Because Trump is definitely involved. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. share, and check back for updates, news, and now evidently crazy conspiracy theories.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us not to be slaves. And everybody's just walking around, heading the clouds, who wanna wake into a dead in the grave. By then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end of days.
Everybody is slaves, only some are aware that the government releasing poison in the air. That's the reason I collect so many guns in my lab. I ain't never caught slipping, never underprepared. Yeah.